Hi guys, this is Frankie Torres for the Pixel Slayers. Today I am going to show you a Goodwill pickup I got. It was half off day and I got this PlayStation 1 for only like $3.50 I think. And it was in pretty shoddy condition, but I felt it had promise, so I'm going to show you me cleaning up the Goodwill PlayStation as I call it, and doing a quick retro bright and taking it apart, making sure everything's in good working order, and reassembling it. So first things first, you're going to go on ahead and peel off any stickers, which the Goodwill stickers are like infamous on my side of the country. They put these really crazy sticky stickers on, so I really have to scrub it. I like to use my fingernail to get the sticker off, and then as you can see I'm using a like a hand wipe to clean the system off. I use these wipes, they're from Costco. They're flushable wipes. I use them to clean almost all my hardware. They do a great job, and they don't stink, and they're really sturdy, so yeah. Now next I'm using a magic eraser, and the magic eraser is to get any like scratches or indentations or marker off of the system. Goodwill likes to mark up their systems, so okay, so the next step after the system has been cleaned is to flip it over and start unscrewing the screws. It uses a regular Phillips screwdriver to get this thing apart. One of my favorite things about this system is it's pretty much one set of screws for the whole thing, and it comes apart really easily. Hold the laser when you're popping off the bottom so it doesn't like slide, and very gently put it down. And once that is taken apart, just be very cautious of the power board, which is on the right side of the system. You don't want to be touching that, and also be very gentle with the laser. Alright, so we're going to get the top part and we're going to unscrew the button assembly. It's pretty easy to do. You just unscrew it and it just pops right off. And now we're going to get busy cleaning. Alright, so I use my wipes once more, and I'm just going to give every little part of this button assembly for the eject mechanism. I'm going to clean it really good. And the problem with this one was the spring came apart. Who knows when, so it actually didn't open properly, but that's an easy fix, and I'll show you that later. And now we're going to clean the top of the button assembly and just kind of clean the inside of the disc tray now that it's open. Okay, so now very gently pull both of these little connections to the laser, and it just pops right off. Put the laser in someplace safe. I'm going to use this box here, and now we're going to take off the power supply. And this you want to be very careful with. It's just 2 screws, but try not to touch it. I like to just use the little cables and just lift up from there. And try not to touch it. It might hold a charge, I'm not too sure, but just don't touch it. Alright, so then we're going to get these ports off next. Like I said, everything uses Phillips screws, so it's really quick. And just very gently pull that tab and it lifts right up. And we're going to take the shield off now, and it's going to show the motherboard underneath. Once again, a couple screws and the shield will pop right off. Okay, so as you can see, the motherboard is now exposed, and we can go ahead and start removing the screws to get the motherboard off. Once again, Phillips screws, it comes right off. This is like one of the easiest systems to take apart. And place this somewhere safe as well. And now we're going to take the last shields off, and now we have the bottom all bare and exposed, and we are going to clean it really good with a wipe now that we can. Okay, so after I cleaned it, the next process was retrobrighting, which I use a peroxide solution, and I soaked it for about 12 hours overnight. And you could do it several times, but one soak did the trick, got the results I wanted. Why not 100% perfect? You're going to see a big difference once I took it out. Yeah, as you can see, it did a very good job of getting all that yellow stain out. So now we're going to dry it really good. Make sure you get all the moisture off of the system, obviously, before reassembling. And you can see the back part, there was a little bit of yellow left, but it got just about all of it around, like especially the sides. Did a very good job. Very pleased with the results. Okay, next is going to be the reassembly. You put the static trays down first, and then you put the motherboard on. And then very carefully grab the power supply board and gently set that in. I like to clean the controller ports really good just before I put them in. These were pretty clean already, but you know, you have the option to clean it while it's out. Take it and set that in. So while you're putting the screws back on the board, go ahead and notice the fuse right here. This fuse can burn out if it has a power surge, so just check it. It's easy to replace if you have to for like maybe a couple dollars. But go ahead and check it before putting your screws in. And in my case it was fine, so I moved on to the motherboard next. And go ahead and put the screws back into the motherboard. Next, screw down the controller ports. And after this, we're going to go ahead and put the shield back on. Okay, screw the shield down once that's applied. And try to be very gentle. It looks like I'm being rough, but I'm really not. I was just like, I do a very light, tight. If that makes any sense, like light, tight. Now go ahead and put this little plastic clip back on, like that. And go ahead and stick the ribbon cable underneath it. And the power ribbon underneath it too. Nice and snug. And go ahead and stick the ribbon cable very gently back into the connection socket. And after you plug those in, we're going to go ahead and just clean the laser really gently with a dry Q-tip. And this will just kind of clean any fingerprints that might have gone on it over the years. And I'm going to be really thorough and just kind of clean real quick around the main parts of the lasers. And I'm even going to stick it in those little holes where the screws go in there, just to make sure it's nice and clean. Okay, after cleaning it, just lightly line up the holes and go ahead and be very gentle and reattach the cable. And just click on it and be very gentle in putting the ribbon cable back onto the motherboard socket. And there you go. Pretty simple. Now we're going to go ahead and put these buttons back. They just click right in place. And the harder, trickier part is the spring assembly. So what we're going to do here is go ahead and put the sliding mechanism in first. And just make sure it's sliding. And then we're going to put the top clip bracket over the screw holes there. And get it aligned. And now we're going to put the spring on. You want to make sure that the longer piece is at the bottom, because if it's not on the bottom of the spring, it will pop off like it did before. And now reattach the screws. And voila, you're done. Now you're going to go ahead and check the eject mechanism. Make sure it's working, which it is. And now I'll just go ahead and pop in the power button and the restart button. Now go ahead and put the spring on the power button and go ahead and attach the top of the PlayStation back on and test the power button. Make sure it clicks on and then test the reset button. Now we're going to go ahead and screw the thing back together. So now you're done. Go ahead and just wiggle it, make sure it sounds solid, and you can see how clean this system is. And we're all done. So let's go test it. There we go, our beautiful Sony Computer Entertainment logo, followed by our very sexy PlayStation logo. And now, Sari's favorite logo, the Squaresoft logo. And at this point you can tell that the PlayStation is working nice and fine. So I'm going to go ahead and go out on this Final Fantasy video. And if you like this video and you found it helpful, hit the like button. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We'll be bringing you lots of great content in the future and always more great stuff to come. So thank you. Bye.